Okay, look who's back. Great writer, great columnist from The Hill, Independent Women's Voice fellow, Kristin Tate. Kristin, it's so good to have you on. We want you to listen to this. It was an emotional overnight news conference. Another New York City police officer shot. Mayor Adams blasting weak on crime reforms. Watch this.
The number of shootings that we are responding to every night is despicable. We took 2,600 guns off our streets. And the shooters of those guns are back on our streets just like this person here. Under normal circumstances, you will see a decrease in crime in the city. But the same criminals are continuing to come out in our streets, committing violence over and over again.
What do you think, Kristin?
Well, it's unbelievable to hear Mayor Adams talking about this problem and complaining about it, because New Yorkers are experiencing more crime under him than they were under even Bill de Blasio. I mean, the city is undeniably more dangerous, even in previously very safe neighborhoods. I mean, all the time, every week we read stories about heinous attacks, about violent incidents and murders. On the subway system alone in New York City, felony assaults increased 50% from just February to March of this year. I just read a story this morning about a 79-year-old man just waiting for his train in a Queens subway station who got violently punched in the face for absolutely no reason. These things happen all the time now. We don't even notice because these stories are so common. And what is Eric Adams doing to solve this problem? He's going to fancy parties, and he's shown he has no courage to go to the governor, go to the state's left-wing state legislature and tell them to start putting criminals in prison instead of just releasing them back on the streets.
And his choice for DA, the Manhattan DA, was doing these weak on crime reform laws, right? So this dangerous criminal was repeatedly let go because of New York's weak bail laws. He's Ramik Smith. He was shot to death after he shot a police officer in the Bronx. He was last arrested in March of 2020, charged with criminal possession of a gun. He was convicted of robbery in 2016, got 5 years probation. And now we've got House Republicans. Their answer to the culture war is a big push, a legislative push, to fight the U.S. crime wave and Democrats defunding police. It's National Police Week. Democrats have been defunding and demonizing and going after cops for way too long.
Yeah, the morale among cops is down. I'm friends with some cops here in Houston, and they tell me it's hard to even recruit people now because cops have been stripped of their dignity over the last few years. But I really don't believe many Democrats understand that Americans care about this problem. When you go to the campaign websites of vulnerable House Democrats ahead of the midterms, many of them don't even list crime or public safety on their websites as top priorities. They'll list things like climate change or even COVID-19 still, or LGBT issues, not even mentioning crime. I was just perusing before we went on air Cynthia Axney's website. She's an endangered Democrat in Iowa. Her district includes Des Moines. She lists 11 priorities, doesn't even list crime or public safety. This is just one example of many. The Democrats have shown they're on the wrong side of so many issues. And when it comes to crime, they're focused on empowering criminals and really stripping cops and law enforcement of their dignity. And it has to end. Americans are sick of it.
I mean, there's a record number of cops being shot at. Your final word.
Yeah, it's a sad thing to see happen. And what's the most tragic of this all is that the people who have the means to, they can get up and move out of dangerous cities like New York or Chicago. It's the most vulnerable who can't afford to do that, who get hurt most by this crime.
That's a great point. Kristin Tate, always a pleasure. Come back soon. Great.